What's up, y'all? All right, today we are going to talk about why you do not have your quote unquote SP still, right? This comes from a conversation I just had with a client, all right? But we can actually use this to relate to anything in our life. You've been doing the techniques, you've been affirming, you've been visualizing, you've been thinking positive. Why isn't your reality changing? So we're going to dive into that. Let me make sure I'm live on everything and we'll get started. Okay, cool. Perfect. All right, so the title of today's discussion is You Are the Living Gospel. All right. So the theme is that you are not here to follow the script, you are here to write it with God. The world has nothing to offer you, but you offer who you are being to the world. So this comes from this is a part of a conversation that I had with a client. Let me put this in quotes, and let's go through it. Of course, they wanted me to share this, and I do think a lot of people can benefit from this conversation because it's something that a lot of people struggle with. Most people get into this space of trying to manifest. They get into the spiritual space because they are trying to get something, right, to make their life feel better. All right, let me make sure this is right. My bad. All right, let's get into it. So here's the note from the client. All right, I've been doing everything that I thought I was supposed to do. The visualizations, the affirmations, trying to stay positive and in alignment. But I feel like I'm just going through the motions now. Sometimes I feel good for a while, but nothing's actually shifting in my reality. And to be honest, I'm exhausted. The more I try, the more distant it feels, especially when it comes to this specific person. It's like I'm chasing a ghost. I keep trying to believe, but it's getting harder to hold on to faith right now. When there's no sign of change. I know you've talked about surrendering and trusting the process, but right now I just feel stuck, like I'm doing everything right, but still getting nowhere. I don't want to give up, but I also don't want to keep spiraling in this loop of hope and disappointment. I'm reaching out because I really need your guidance to help me understand what I might be missing. And so this is in alignment with the conversation that we had yesterday. But we're going to go more specific into people today. All right, so the verse that I want to bring up before we get into this discussion is Luke 9:62. No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. What does that mean? What does that mean? No one who puts his hand to the plow is work. The moment that you make a decision that you want to be someone, and then you turn around and you start being the person that you no longer wanted to be, then you are not fit for service in the kingdom of God. We have to remember when it comes to everything in our life, you're a specific person. When it comes to the money you want, the job you want, the prosperity, the wealth, external circumstances in your life are meaningless. They happen and they may trigger you to think a certain way, but you are the one who gives it meaning. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. What this truly means is that whatever you go through in your life, whatever you see in your life, whatever you experience, whatever you say that it is, that's what it is. So you're walking around with this ultimate power of declaration. To decree means to speak as a legal authority. All right. And so I want to go into this verse, the most important verse in my opinion, to understand how to get things, because it truly does say everything about this. All right, so, well, two of them really. First of them is from the Gospel of Thomas. Right, this is one of Jesus's teachings. If those who lead you say, look, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is within you and it is outside of you. What does that mean? It means that everything is within you already. So you think that you're interacting with these different people, with this woman that you want, with this man that you want, with this job you want. You think that these circumstances are unfolding outside of you and they're showing you how things are supposed to be, when really these circumstances are unfolding from within you and you are declaring what they mean. All right, let's go deeper into this, because this is a point that I believe if you understand this truly, you can truly change how you experience reality. You can truly get all the things that you want if you understand this one Simple concepts. Okay? Scripture says, when it comes to getting what you want, it specifically says, verily, verily, I say unto you. Whenever you hear verily, verily, this means listen up. This means it's time to pay attention, take notes, pull out your journal, do what you have to do to remember this. All right? Verily, verily, real talk, I say unto you, whatsoever you ask in the Father's name shall be given to you. Whatever you ask. And so immediately from our human perspective, we say, whoa, I've been asking. I've been asking for money. I've been asking for this person to act right. I've been doing all the techniques, the affirming. But let's really take a look at what this means. Whatever you ask in the Father's name. Okay, what is the Father's name? When Moses asked, who am I speaking to? What did God say? God said, I am that I am. What does I am that I am means? It means I am whatever you say that I am. I am whatever you say I am. We understand that the Most High, the God within you, you are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. We understand that creation is finished. There is nothing new. You are simply selecting realities. Okay? So, whatever you say in the Father's name, if I understand that the Father's name is I am, well, how do I describe myself? If somebody says, who are you? You say, I am whatever. Okay? So however you describe yourself is a prayer. When you say intentionally that you are prosperous, you are loved, everything is working out, everything works out for me, you are describing yourself. So that is asking for something in the Father. But hold up. We tend to think that praying is just I sit, legs crossed, arms folded. A prayer is everything that you declare yourself to be. All right, think about this. Whatever you ask in the Father's name, if the Father's name is I am that I am, the I am being the beginning, the I am at the end being the end, the Alpha and the Omega, and that being whatever you declare yourself to be right in the middle, right? Because since God is within you, this means that you are the beginning, you are the end, but you get to experience life as whatever character you choose. So that is you. That is, who are you being today? Are you the person that walks in the office and says, man, everything is just fucking up today. I can't get anything right. Or are you the person that says everything is divinely working out for me? Man, it's up to you. Now, let's look at this even deeper. The kingdom of heaven is within you. If someone says the kingdom is out, you might think the birds are closer. If somebody thinks the kingdom is in the church, you might think your priest is closer. But the kingdom is within you. But hold up. Everything is a reflection of you, right? Everything is being outpictured from you. We constantly understand this if you listen to Jesus. If you listen to any spiritual text, all these spiritual teachers, there's nothing outside of you. Everyone is you pushed out. Like there's nothing out there. Everything is just a reflection of you. This is the all-seeing eye that is looking back at you saying, okay, what are your beliefs, and reflecting them perfectly. So it's not that this person that I'm talking to is this own individual person. They're reflecting beliefs and expectations at me. This is why you can predict how people are going to act in your life. You know, if I give them this news, they're going to react positively. If I give them this news, they're going to react negatively. The only time you're truly surprised is when you expect to be surprised. When you think you might be surprised, all of a sudden you are surprised. Is this some coincidence? No. All right, so let's break it down a little bit further. Everybody is you. Everybody is you. So if the Most High's name is I am, and when you describe yourself, you say I am, and then everything outside of you is you as well. And when you describe those things, okay, that's the same as saying that you are or I am something, because it's all me. Then that means that everything that I say about myself, about that person out there, about that thing out there, about this circumstance that I see, everything is a declare. It's a decree, right? You don't say a declaration. It is a decree. You have full authority. If you start studying your life, you'll realize that everything in your life, what? Matches your beliefs and your expectations, right? Start studying your life. Start studying other people's life. The people that complain the most about women, how is their relationships with women? How do their relationships with women play out? Are they ever proven wrong? No. The women that are the most bitter about men, they can't stand this generation of men. All men ain't shit, right? Does a man ever prove them wrong? No. They're always proven right. If you have a broke mentality, right? You have a problem with money. Is money ever going to prove you wrong? No. It will always prove you right. This is your power to decree a thing and it shall be, right? To decree a thing and it shall be. All right. So when we talk about prayer, when we talk about techniques, when we talk about affirmations, what we have to understand is those things are just for you to put yourself in the mindset right now. If you sit down and you do affirmations or you visualize, what you are saying is you are declaring that, okay, since I had this vision, I'm going to accept this as truth right now. And now I'm making a declaration to the universe that I'm going to walk through life like this indefinitely until reality changes. So you have two things that can happen. Either you walk through life and you trigger reality to change because you react different to something, or reality triggers you to go back to the old version of you because you react to the mirror. So if you know that everything is a mirror, if you don't like the clothes that you're wearing, you're not going to walk to the mirror and get mad at it, right? You're just going to go change your clothes. If you see something outside in your life that you don't like, you're not going to get mad at it. You're going to say, because I am perfect, because I don't understand what everything means, because everything is meaningless. Let me put it like that. Because everything is meaningless until I give it meaning. That means I literally can say that everything is whatever I want it to be. I don't have to stick to the rules of humanity anymore. I am God experiencing himself through my perspective, walking through the world, trying to understand myself as the creator. That's all I am. I am that I am. I am whatever I say that I am. There is nothing outside of me. All of these things are reflections of me, and they resonated with me at one point in time. And so things that I don't like have a vibration. And if I react on a level that matches that vibration, guess what? It stays in my life. But the moment that I snap out of that, I understand that I am larger than reality, and I start walking through life like that. These situations show up in my life that aren't in alignment to who I really am, and I react from a greater perspective. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's all working out for me. Boom. Now it has no choice but to fade away because I don't resonate with it anymore. This is your power. Huh? Now, let's get back to the client question. All right, let's get back to this client question because we had a very, very good discussion about it. And we had a very, very good discussion about it. And this was actually, we had about 2 weeks ago, we had a follow-up last night. And all of a sudden, the person that they want can't stop thinking about them, can't stop calling them, can't stop texting, has been repeating affirmations to them. Why? All right. So I highlighted keywords in this paragraph just so we understand. All right. So let's really break this down. I want you all to break this down. I want y'all to tell me what you see wrong with this, right? Or where are the blind spots? Because these blind spots, we can all learn from everyone's testimony. When it comes to reality creation, we can all learn from each other. Okay. So this is what he said. I've been doing everything I thought. I've been doing everything that I, quote unquote, thought that I was supposed to do. All right. The visualizations, the affirmations, trying to stay positive and in alignment. But I just feel like I'm just going through the motions now. Sometimes I feel good for a while, but nothing's actually shifting in my reality. Let's pause right there. I've been doing everything that I thought, that my human brain thought that I was supposed to do. I've been doing all the affirmations because I thought that the affirmations gave me power. The visualizations gave me power. Right? Trying to stay positive and in alignment gave me power. But like we always say, your feelings are fleeting. You can get in the car right now. You can go through a thunderstorm and your feelings change. You are the constant, ever-present consciousness above those feelings. Feelings are just feelings. That's all they are. It's a manifestation of something that you see outside of you that is just a reflection of you. But the knowing of who you are, the knowing that you are God, you should know that like you know your name. You should know that like you know your name. Right? It doesn't matter how I feel, I know my name. It doesn't matter what's going on outside of me, I know my name. It doesn't matter what you feel, you still know that you are God. It doesn't matter what you see, you still know that you are God. All right? So I feel like I'm just going through the motions now. Sometimes I feel good for a while, but nothing is actually shifting in my reality. All right. So what are we actually doing in this? We're giving our power to the external world. We're saying, I'm doing all these things to make you change. And because I can't see you changing, now I'm assuming that you're not. And guess what? Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Okay. Whatever you ask in the Father's name is I am. Everything is you. So whether you are calling yourself something or you are saying that something outside of you is something, they're true. Because you will get whatever you ask in the Father's name. The Father's name is I am that I am. That woman that you want. That's just you. She's a reflection of you. So whatever you describe her as, you are describing yourself as. And whatever you describe yourself as, you are describing God as. Okay? So we have to understand that whatever I declared, if I say, bro, I've been doing all these techniques, but nothing is moving. Guess what I just created with my divine, powerful ass? I created a reality where nothing has changed. But the moment that I say reality has to change because I've changed and I am the proof, now reality has to change. Reality is looking at you. If you've ever had a trip, all right, the trip, I'm going to say the letters in a different order. The DTM trip, what a lot of people report, and somebody commented this a while ago, was all the eyes. You might see all the eyeballs. To me, what this represented, to me, from my awareness, when I actually asked, like, what the fuck is going on, is that everything in your reality, every person, everything, every event, every circumstance is looking at you, trying to see who you are going to be. What do you believe? What do you expect? And based on that, it's reflecting that back at you. Right? So you think all women ain't shit. Guess what the women in your life are going to be? They're going to be ain't shit. Oh, you think all men cheat. Guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to be proven right. Because we even know, let's put this in a very logical perspective. Two different men can get two different versions of the exact same woman. Two different women can get the exact same version of the same man. You could go to this man, he could be playing around with you for 2 years. But another woman walks in his life and boom, they're married. They're engaged in 6 months. He's head over heels. You text him, he's blocked you. He don't want shit to do with you, right? Different people can get a different, you can get a different version of a certain person based on who you are. Huh? So we tend to think that this is just some fairy tale fantasy and we think that's for other people and we look at this as delusion. No, this is your belief. This is your belief being outpictured in real time. When's the last time you've been truly surprised by someone? When's the last time that you knew if I bring this person bad information, bad news, or this type of news, they're going to react badly and all of a sudden they reacted well? When's the last time that happened? You even know which people, I'm gonna have this conversation with this person. I'll have this conversation with that person. You already know this. Why? Why? It's just your beliefs being outpictured. The moment you begin to take your beliefs back and say, you know what? Fuck that. I've been taught how to believe. Now I'm going to actually step in my divinity and believe what I want. I'm going to believe what is in alignment with what I want. Now all of a sudden, you are the one that's creating reality. Reality is not just, you're not just reacting to the reflection of who you are. Okay? So, sometimes I feel good for a little while, but nothing's actually shifting in my reality, which is a declaration. The moment I say nothing's shifting, nothing is. But the moment I say everything has to be shifting because I'm different, I'm the proof, I'm the synchronicity. Okay, I am the God walking through earth. You are the sun, and everyone else is just rotating around you. Everybody else is just a planet, a star, a little piece of dust, just circulating around you, trying to reflect who you are, what you believe. You are the main character. Take the controller back from other people. Like, snatch that shit back. You are player one. Everybody else, they're not even player two. They're not even player two. They might be player 5, player 6, but you are player one. Everybody is watching you to see who you are so they can reflect it. This is why you can have a good day and all of a sudden, oh, everything starts going well. You have a bad day and it's like, damn, one thing after another. This is your power. This is not coincidence. This is not the universe playing with you. The universe is fair. God is fair. You're not being tested. Life is just reflecting back at you. There's no test. There is no test. All right? The testimony is that you finally waking up and saying, shit, it's been me the whole time. And now I can walk through life as a different person. Who are you being? Okay? So, to be honest, I'm exhausted. Well, let's get back to the thing, right? And so keep in mind what things pop out, what things are similar to your experiences. Okay? What things are similar to your experiences? Okay? Now, let's see. All right, to be honest, I'm exhausted. The more I try, the more distant it feels, especially when it comes to this specific person I'm trying to manifest, right? It's like I'm chasing a ghost. I keep trying to believe, but it's getting harder to hold on to faith when there's no sign of change. Once again, looking to the external world to prove to us that things are changing. Needing the mirror to show you, right? Having a stain on your shirt and needing the mirror to change first instead of you changing the shirt and then going back to the mirror. Okay? I keep trying to believe, but it's getting harder to hold on to faith when there's no sign of change. I know you've talked about surrendering, okay? And trusting the process. What is the process? Trusting the process. What do you believe is the process? Do you believe that your visualization and affirmations are the process? Or do you believe that you are the process and those things are just tools? They're just weapons that you can use to change your life whenever you want. Two completely different mindsets. You are the process. You are the process. Who you're being is the process. These things that you pull out, affirmations, visualizations, these are just weapons that you can wield whenever you want. You can sheath them whenever you want. You can pull on them whenever you want. All right? But right now I feel stuck. Like I'm doing everything quote unquote right, but still getting nowhere. I don't want to give up, but I also don't want to keep spiraling in this loop of hope and disappointment. I'm reaching out because I really need your guidance to help me understand what I might be missing. Right? Think about this for a second, right? What part stands out to you more or stands out to you the most? Okay? I know you've talked about surrendering and trusting the process, but right now I just feel stuck. Like I'm doing everything right, but still getting nowhere. These are declarations. I'm doing everything right, but I'm getting nowhere. This is a declaration that you're making. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Whatever you ask in the Father's name being I am. The Father's name being I am. Everything outside of you is you. So everything that you call yourself and everything else, you are calling God. So you're decreeing, you are creating the reality where nothing is moving based on your assumptions. Okay, that's why some people call it the law of being, right? Who are you being? Who are you being? Are you being the person that's waiting for change? Are you being the person who is the change? Do you believe that reality, right, that you are a piece of reality, or do you believe that reality revolves around you? Do you believe that you are the center of the solar system, that you are the sun, and everything else, no matter how you pull through your universe, everything else has to stay around you? And if they don't stay close to you, if they don't stay in your vibration, guess what? They fall off and die. This is how you should look at people. Look, you are just reflecting a belief of mine. If I didn't believe this, you probably wouldn't even exist. I can change my circumstances based on my beliefs. I don't care what it looks like. I'm the operant power. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You are the God in this reality. What do you say it is? Right? This is what Jesus was saying when he was asking his disciples, like, who do they say that I am? Because you have to look at this metaphorically, right? Not like a history book, but look at this metaphorically. What does this mean? The disciples started saying all kinds of things. Well, some say that you're the prophet. Some say that you're the Son of God. All right? What does this represent? This represents us trying to look to everyone else to define what we think things are. And how did Jesus, representing your I am awareness, Yahshua, what did he say? He said, no, I don't care about what they said. Who do you say that I am? Right? It doesn't matter what the circumstance looks like. It doesn't matter if people don't believe in you. It doesn't matter if they're saying you're not going to make it. What do you say about the situation? What do you say? It doesn't matter how many people say women ain't shit. What do you believe? What do you want to experience? I am that I am. You are that you are. You are whatever the hell you say you are. How are you declaring the world to be around you? All right? So hopefully this is hitting home so far, right? So I don't want to give up, but I also don't want to keep spiraling in this loop of hope and disappointment. Who's creating these loops in our life? When we're not getting things, because we're putting all the power in the techniques. Man, I've been affirming till my face is blue. I've been approaching affirming like a full-time job. You don't know if you're doing the visualization right or wrong. You can't get it wrong. You are the power. You are the God. You are the creator. You are the one who says this works or it doesn't work. How do you know if it's working or not? You're the one who says it's working or it's not. How do you know if things are changing outside of you? You're the one who says that. There's nothing outside of you. No, this is why they say no one can save you. This is why we are tricked to thinking that our Savior is elsewhere. Because everything that you believe is the truth. No one can save you. Nothing outside of you can show you that things are working. You're the one who gives them meaning. Even when you see a synchronicity, who gives it meaning? You do. You say, oh, 333, 444. You get on Google and start looking it up. Who wrote that? Who wrote the Google article? And so now you believe that, you buy into it, and boom, all of a sudden it becomes your truth. Who determines that? You. But it's based on which article you read, right? Oh, it's going to be money, yada, yada. Okay, cool. You are the operant power. There is no prison in your mind that you cannot escape, but you also have to understand that your beliefs can create a hell of a prison for you. We see this all the time. Right now, what's the big thing is attachment styles. Attachment styles are a big thing right now. Avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, right? People have prisoned themselves. We prison ourselves and we prison everybody else around us. Like, oh, no. Can't be with them. I think that they're an avoidant. What do you mean? That's what you're declaring them to be. What do you mean you can't be with a certain type of person because you're a Virgo or you're a Scorpio? What do you mean you have to live by these rules because you're a Scorpio? All right? The moment that you decide, no, I don't have to be jealous. That's not even the life that I want to live. The moment that you make that decision, boom, you can transcend it. But the moment that you accept it, you can have it. We see this all the time. What do we call this in science? We call this the placebo effect. The God within you effect. We did a full lecture where we went through case study after case study after case study of placebo effects. People going as far as curing cancer from their beliefs. If you don't know what the placebo effect is, right? Basically, when you go into certain studies, let's say that you have an illness and there is a new drug that is meant to treat this illness. For some of the patients, they will give you the real drug. For other patients, they will give you a placebo, a quote unquote placebo, meaning it just does nothing. It might be a sugar pill. It might be just nothing. All right. But you don't know if you're getting the real thing or the fake thing. And so people ingest this fake thing. And because they have the belief that they're getting this real thing, all of a sudden, miraculously, they start healing. Miraculously, cancer, tumors shrink within their body. Right? Coincidence? No, this is the God within you. The placebo effect, this is the God within you effect. They had studies, I think one of the case studies was people were having this, these surgeons were, basically a doctor was giving surgery to people. A couple people he was actually giving the repairing surgery to, or was like repairing their knee, and a couple others, they just made a couple incisions and they really didn't do shit. But both patients, all the patients that said they had this surgery, all started healing. Could walk better, move better, reported greater flexibility, all kinds of things. Some of them ain't have shit done to them. Okay, this is the power that you have in your beliefs. Your beliefs shape reality. Your expectations shape reality. When you walk through life as a bitter person, believing that all people are a certain way, guess what? They have to prove you right. When you walk around thinking that your life is a miracle, everyday miracles show up, guess what? Has to prove you right. When you believe that, oh my God, this is divine timing, what makes it divine timing? Your divine ass does. It's the divinity within you that makes it divine timing. Not something outside you. There's nothing outside of you. Right? There's nothing outside of you. The kingdom is within you. It's clearly stated over and over again. It doesn't matter what teaching you look at, right? The kingdom is within you, right? So, how are you cultivating that, bro? We ain't even gotten to the lecture yet. That's crazy. All right, so Luke 9:62. No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. All right? When you decide, I am going to change. Look, I don't like this circumstance. I'm going to walk as a prosperous version of me. Right? I'm going to walk as the version of me where, you know what I'm saying, I got to be real careful because, you know what I'm saying, the moment I have a conversation with a beautiful woman, she might immediately fall for me. She might immediately never want to move out. Right? How do you walk through life? Once you make the decision of what you want to experience and you start walking as that, what this is saying is that you can't go back. No one who puts his hand to the plow, you've decided to change. You decided to kill that old version of you. You decided to move forward. Identify yourself differently. Identify the world differently. If you look back, you're not fit for service in the kingdom of God. And so we delusionally think, oh, God is punishing me. God is testing me. How? No, the world is just a perfect reflection. That is it. The world is just a perfect reflection. This is the story of Job. Okay, if we really want clarity on Luke 9:62, no one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. This is the story of Job. Job had everything he wanted. And then what did the quote unquote devil say? He said, look, anybody can worship you when they have everything. Take it away and see who he is, right? Anybody can be positive and walk around saying affirmations when everything looks good. But when that situation shows up that you don't like, that bill shows up, who are you? How do you react to it? Do you look at it and say, oh, no, this is just how everything is unfolding. Everything is still unfolding perfectly. Or all of a sudden, do you look back? Do you become that old person? If you don't become that old person and you stay rooted in who you are divine, you are God, you are everything. You are the beginning and the end. You are whatever you say you are. You are that you are, right? I am that I am. When you step in that knowing, you have no choice but to transcend that situation. That situation has to fade away. It's about who you're being, okay? You can affirm, right? You can affirm till you throw up. You can affirm all day if you what? You might get things, but you'll lose them if you're not being the person that can hold on to them. Who are you being? Inflate your sense of self. Look at yourself as God. When you look in the mirror, you should see God. If anyone asks you who is God and you don't immediately think of something within you, of you, if you think of some being out there in the sky, it's going to be very difficult for you to keep your self-worth high. This is what Jesus was alluding to, right? In this next verse, all right? If those who lead you say, look, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is within you and it is outside of you. The kingdom is you. You are God, all right? So they lied to you. told you to wait, to suffer, to beg. But Christ never preached delay. Even the miracles, right, that we read about in Scripture, they were instant. Okay? If you research and we start talking about spiritual teachers, what do they say? Right? Manifestation is instant. The moment that you decide you want something, your soul, the God within you, your higher self immediately manifests that in your life. The path to get there is immediately laid forward. The only thing that you have to do is walk in faith. That is the work. The only thing that you have to do is walk in faith. This is the quote, right? No one who puts his hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God. Do not look back. You've made a decision of who you are. Keep walking forward. It doesn't matter what shows up. Those are things from your past. They're things to transcend. You don't resonate with them anymore, right? If anything, they're just tests for you. It's not that God is testing you. It's these situations were in resonance with you at one point in time. Are they still? Are you really who you say you are? This is the story of Orpheus, the Greek story of Orpheus, right? Orpheus, this is the Greek story of Orpheus. So Orpheus lost his woman, loved his woman, lost his woman. She was in the underworld, right? He loved her so much that he went down and confronted Hades about it. And Hades said, yeah, you can get her back. You can have her back. But here's the catch. She's going to walk right behind you from here until you get out of the gates of the underworld. And if you look back, guess what? You'll lose her forever. But if you don't look back, you can have her. This represents your awareness. This represents the things that you want. If you make a decision that you want something, you have to continue walking as the person that has it, as God, with faith that it is unfolding until it happens. So what happens to Orpheus? He was walking. Of course, it was easy at first. It's always easy at first. That doesn't determine who you are when it's easy, right? Job knew that, right? Anybody can worship. Anybody can do affirmations. Anybody can have faith when it's easy. Then the voices started getting louder. Things started whispering in his ear saying, like your ego, the circumstances start saying, you've been affirming all this time. You've been visualizing, but nothing's changed. And so he was strong still for a little bit. Like, no, I have faith that she's there. Even though he could not see any evidence of her around him. Just like when you're going through life trying to get something, you can't see evidence of it. That's not for you to see. Right? This outside world doesn't do anything. You're the one who gives it meaning. You're the one who has to look out and say, no, it's still all working for me. That's your job. The external world's job is not to prove you wrong, right? It's not to say, oh yeah, we're changing. You're the one who has to trigger the external world to change. You have to make the decision to continue to walk with so much conviction that it does not matter what people say. It doesn't matter who supports you, who doesn't. Right? It doesn't matter who tells you that what you're doing is dumb and who tells you, oh, good job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the situation looks like. It doesn't matter how the bills look. You have to be the one with so much conviction that you transcend all the external circumstances because you are the God of this reality. So Orpheus got to the end of the underworld and he couldn't take it anymore. Right? This is the metaphor when they say, oh, most people quit right before the breakthrough. What does that mean? All right. He could not help himself. He had to look. He had to second guess. He turned around and what did he see? That she was right there with him the whole time. And the moment that they locked eyes, boom, she disappeared forever. She disappeared forever. Now, of course, this is a story of faith, but it's not that harsh. Okay, it's not as harsh as your faith, like how things unfold isn't that harsh. Right? A more accurate depiction would be the story of Peter. Peter could walk on water when he had his eyes on his I am awareness, the Christ within him. But the moment he took his eyes off, because what did he see? Storms. He saw some lightning in the background. And what does this represent? Certain storms that you're going to see. You believe that everything's going to work out. You've made the decision that everything's going to work out. But when it was sunny outside, it was easy. But all of a sudden, when them storm clouds come, you take your eye off of who you are and you start sinking. And Christ is able to actually reach down, representing your awareness, the God within you saying, I'm always here. I'm always here, man. And so immediately you can grab that hand, you can remember who you are, and you can be pushed back up. All right? So this is what this represents. The external world is not going to change so you can be more convicted in who you are, so you can walk with more conviction. You have to walk with more conviction so the external world can change. This is a game of identity, of discipline, of being so tired and fed up with what you've been receiving that you completely make the decision right now. That you make the decision right now, not in meditation tonight, not in prayer tonight, right? Not in church on Sunday. You make the decision right now that I'm never going back. I declare right now everything is working out. And I don't care what things look like. I don't care if things look like to my human mind that they're falling apart, right? God and I are the same, right? My Father and I are one. God is within you. You are within God. Y'all are one. But your Father in heaven, the God within you, does all the work. I can give it to the greater mind. I don't care what it looks like. It is what I say it is. I am that I am. Everything is what you say it is. No, this is the conviction you have to have. This is the conviction that you should walk through your life with and allow everything to give you what you deserve. Because all you deserve is divinity, because you are divine. You deserve the most beautiful things in life. You deserve the most God-like experiences in relationships, with money, with the places you live, with the cars you drive, with the experiences that you have. You deserve the God in everything, because that is all you are, is God. All right? So the gospel of the hidden spark. All right, so they lied to you, told you to wait, to suffer, to beg, but Christ never preached delay, he preached awakening. All right, you don't find the kingdom, you remember it. All right? The kingdom is not a distant deity. Right? God is not a distant deity. It is the divine code embedded in your soul. You are the book, you are the temple, and you are the spark the world is trying to extinguish. Right? Quote, do not become a slave again. Stand in the freedom of the light. What is the light? The God within you. Do not become a slave to the circumstances again, because the circumstances are just you. Stop reacting to them. Stop acting like they're real. I know it's difficult sometimes. I know sometimes the bills pile up, but all the prosperity that you need is within you. This is the story of the pool at Bethesda, right, where all the people gathered around thinking that at a certain time, an angel stirred the water and all of a sudden it would make them healed. And when Jesus showed up representing the God within you, the I am awareness, representing how you're supposed to walk through life. This is the metaphor of Jesus, right? How you are supposed to walk through life. He said, you know what? I'm not taking you to that pool. All you need is me. Do you even want to be healed? And man said, of course I want to be healed, but I have nobody to take me to the pool. Just like we say, of course I want to be loved. I have no one to love me. Of course I want prosperity. I have no one to give me prosperity. These are the foolish things that we say, the illusory things that we say, that we have to start stripping. Of course you want love because you are love. You want what you are. Of course you want prosperity because the God within you is infinite prosperity. The reason you don't have those things is because you continuously forget who you are. You get pulled into the delusion and the distractions of the world. You get pulled into the drama of politics and the drama of which religion is greater than which, arguing over things that don't matter. But God is within you, ready to give you everything that you want immediately. Okay? So religion may have taught you to kneel, but the Spirit teaches you to rise. Your soul is trying to get you to rise. Become a greater version of yourself. Look at yourself as divinity, as God. This is the key to everything that you want, is to, instead of suppressing yourself and thinking that you are a small person in this big world, understand that you are everything. You're not a small person. You're not a victim, never have been. You couldn't be a victim. The God within you can't be a victim. You're just a reflection. You're just living life through a reflection. You can try as hard as you want to be a victim. You can't. You can create the experience of it over and over and over again, but the God within you isn't. Can't be. It's impossible. How can the God within you, how can the creator of anything be a victim? Right? Your faith is not in your worship. Your faith is in remembrance. Right? So remembering who you are. It's when you stop remembering yourself incorrectly. Stop thinking that God and your Savior is the priest. God is out there. Somebody has to come save you. Someone has to come bring you to salvation. You have all the tools within you right now to bring yourself to salvation, to bring yourself to heaven on earth. It's your birthright. Start looking at your desires as promises. Stop thinking that God is just teasing you with these visions. Like, I'm just playing games with you. I'm just going to make you want this. Like, we say things that are so contradictory. You believe that God is within you, right? Okay, if you believe that God is within you, why do you think God puts things in your mind? To tease you? Like, just to play games with you, to give you, no, I'm going to give you this desire so I can test your willpower to see if you'll suppress it. No, to see if you'll conform to the world, right? It specifically says, be not conformed to the world. Do not conform to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Fall back into who you are. Okay, people of earth, right? What is that verse, right? People of the earth think like they're of the earth, right? People that are in this low level of consciousness, and they believe that this reality, when you walk through, you believe that this reality is so solid and so real. And you just walk through life and you're reacting to everything. You're reacting to the mirror. You're just creating hell for yourself. You're creating the same experiences over. And then you step into this space and you believe, oh, if I just start affirming and doing the visualization, I'm going to change my life. You can change certain things, of course. But ultimately, the world has to reflect who you are. It has to reflect who you are being. Okay, the law of attraction, you get what you are. You attract what you are. Law of assumption. Assume you are the person that has what you want so you can get it. The law of being. The law of reciprocity. The law of even exchange. All of these things point back to who are you being. It's about who you're being. Guys, don't put the power in the tool. There's no power in the affirmations. The affirmations just make you feel good. It reminds you of who you are, but you are the power. Whether you affirm or not, you are the power. Whether you visualize or not, you are the power. Whether you do both, you are the power. These things are your tools. They're your weapons. You can disband them whenever you want. If you have a situation you don't like, you can affirm your way out of it, but you have to understand that you are the power. Right? Who are you conscious of being? This is consciousness. All right? Ooh, the S&P starting to turn around. All right, this is consciousness. Your consciousness has to be on point. You can no longer walk through life as a robot. You can no longer afford to go to sleep. You can't afford to get in the car and because you've went down this path so much, you just shut off your brain and you end up at the destination and you've been spiraling mentally for 15 minutes, creating a life you don't want. You can no longer afford to do that. How long do I have to stay on this path? How long do I have to program my life forever? Forever. Because the only other choice is going back to what you don't like. This is what consciousness is. Consciousness is being conscious. It's not sugar-coated. Right? If you want to change your life, you have to be conscious of your thoughts, conscious of your beliefs. You want to walk in every situation and question why I believe this. Does what I believe about this situation benefit me? If you walk into a situation with women, right, and you believe that all women ain't shit, but you still want a good woman, you want to get married, does that belief serve you? Then why do you have it? Who gave it to you? Did you get it online? Did you get it from your experiences? How many experiences showed you that? So you don't know any good women. Okay, why? All right. One of the things that I always talk about is the 5 whys. It's a root cause analysis technique that we use in tech. Right? Whenever I used to work in tech, we did a root cause analysis. So if there was a problem in the network, in the software, you would ask the question 5 times, okay, what is the problem? This is the problem. Right, all women are terrible. Why? Because I never have good experiences with them. Why? Because the women that I choose are always doing this and that. Why? I don't know. I guess I'm attracted to a type of woman that why? Well, because I look for these things first, and maybe I should look for these things. All right, typically when you get to the fifth why, or you run out of answers, you run out of, things to ask, boom, that's where the work starts. But so often we just stay at this surface level. Yeah, you believe men ain't shit. Good for you. Congrats. Right? It's a hell of a belief to have. Watch as reality conforms to it. But why do you believe that? Is that belief in alignment with what you want? If it's not, then why do you believe it? If God is within you, and whatever you ask in the Father's name, and everybody outside of you is you, and the Father's name is I am, and you define yourself by saying, I am this. And if all those things are you out there, so you describing them is the same as saying that I am, then why the hell are you saying things, declaring things that you don't want to experience? Why? Why are you doing that? You're waiting for the world to prove you differently. It can't. It's universal law, right? It's like waiting for gravity to prove it doesn't work anymore. Good luck. Right? It's universal law. You flow with it. You use gravity to your advantage. You can get stronger and jump higher, but you can't override gravity. Gravity is gravity. Universal law, the law of reflection, right? You, as within, so without. This is just universal law. Everybody as you pushed out. This is just universal law. No one's going to come in your life and prove otherwise. Right? So you can either live in that life of frustration and wait for that to happen, wait for the impossible to happen, or you can start to actually use universal law to your advantage, to your benefit. All right, so imagination is not delusion, it is revelation. It is how the divine speaks in colors, symbols, visions, and desires. You are not waiting for heaven to fall. You are called to pull it down through faith and embodiment. Okay? Heaven is not something that you wait for. You have to die to go to heaven. Right? Heaven is something that you embody. Who are you being? You create that heaven on earth experience. Okay? Heaven is a consciousness. Hell is a consciousness. All right? So, the Gospel of Philip. All right, one of my favorite quotes in there. You saw the Spirit, you became Spirit. You saw Christ, you became Christ. What is Spirit? Spirit is everything. Okay, what is Christ? Christ is everything. God is everything. The kingdom is within you. Okay, so what does this truly mean? You see the Spirit, or you saw the Spirit, you became Spirit. What are you becoming because of what you are seeing? Everything that you see is Spirit. Everything that you see is Christ. All right? Yeah, of course. So let me repeat that. Imagination is not delusion. All right, let me actually go back a little bit further. All right, religion may have taught you to kneel, but the Spirit teaches you to rise. Okay, faith is knowing, a deep burning certainty that God moves through you. Imagination is not delusion, it is revelation. It is how the divine speaks in colors, symbols, visions, and desires. You are not waiting for heaven to fall. You are called to pull it down through faith and embodiment. Okay? So you saw the Spirit, you became Spirit. You saw Christ, you became Christ. Okay? So you see these things outside of you and you become them. Where are you focused and what are you becoming? Okay? Are you becoming the person that's greater than their circumstances? Are you truly becoming the embodiment of Christ? The person that looked suffering and all these things in the eye and maintain their divinity. Are you that person? Or do you see lack outside of you and you identify with it? You declare that because you see lack, that is what you are now. Or do you say, no, everything's still working out perfectly. I'm greater than this situation. This is the story of Pontius Pilate, right? Pontius Pilate representing your external circumstances, talking to Jesus and saying, you know, I have the power to crucify you. I have the power to take you out, brother. And what did Yahshua, what did your I am awareness respond with? It said, you would have no power over me. You have no power if it's not given from above. Meaning if I don't give this thing power, it has no power. Everything only has power based on what I declare it to be. Nothing has power over you unless you give it power. Unless you say, everything's just not working because you see this bill. Because this person ignores you, your SP. ignores you, and you're like, ah, man, it's all falling apart. You're the one who gives it that meaning. But you can make everything mean anything. You can make things mean whatever you want. All right? You saw the Spirit, you became Spirit. You saw Christ, you became Christ. Where are you focused and what are you becoming? Stop asking for signs and be the sign. Declare it. Because I've changed, everything has to change. Because I walk through life as this new divine version of me, everything has no choice but to change immediately. And everything is unfolding perfectly for me. I do not judge based on sight. I walk by faith. I do not walk by sight. I walk by faith. Do you truly understand what that means? I don't walk by faith. Oh shit, my bad, y'all. I don't walk by sight. I walk by faith. Do you truly embody that? Do you truly understand what that means? Do you truly live that? Right? Do you truly? Right? A lot of the scripture, like you can get into the semantics and you can get into the history of it and you can debate all day, but like if you truly just knew a couple things and you lived by it, it's all right, I walk by faith and not by sight. How would your life change? Whatever I ask in the Father, and knowing that I am is the Father's name, so whatever I call myself is a prayer, consciously and unconsciously. Whatever I call anybody else or any circumstance is a prayer. How would you walk different? Your life would change completely. All right? So number 3, the living vision where desire and divinity meet. You don't need a middleman. Oh, I love that. I love that right there. You don't need a middleman. You don't need a priest, a pastor, a teacher, a coach, a counselor, a therapist. You don't need none of that shit. You are the priest and the prophet. The desire in your heart is not temptation, it is instruction. Desire is the voice of God when purified through purpose. When purified through purpose. Okay? Stop treating your imagination like a distraction. It is your altar. So Gospel of Thomas, that which you have will save you if you bring it forth. That desire you have will save you if you bring it forth. That God within you will save you if you bring it forth. That which you do not bring forth will destroy you. That thing that you suppress, and then you sit on your deathbed and you say, I just got a message for the youth. Just follow your dreams. No regrets. Because you've regretted. The people that on their deathbed, as they get older, all of a sudden they're looking back through life and they're like, damn, I really dropped the ball. You never have to be them. You can have everything that you want. And all it takes is faith. All it takes is it requires you to work on yourself. That's all it requires. Can you work on yourself? Okay? Bring it forth. Your visions, your message, your divine madness. Destiny isn't just written in scripture, it is written in you. Okay? Now, meditation prompt to activate that actual inner gospel. Right? Consider your thoughts as the gospel, your desire as the gospel of your life, the truth of your life, the word, the law of your life. All right? So here's a meditation prompt. You can do it now, you can do it later on. Okay? Close your eyes and see a radiant scroll within your heart. So imagine a scroll within your heart, right? The scroll can look however you want it to look. Glamour it up, simplify it, whatever pops in your mind. This scroll glows with divine fire. Once again, the divine fire is up to you. Right? You see do what resonates with you, right? Imagine what resonates with you. This scroll is unread by the world, but it is only known by your soul. So just review this scroll and start asking yourself, because you already know what's on the scroll. I don't have to tell you what's on the scroll. You imagine the scroll, you can already see what's on the scroll. What truth have I been hiding that was meant to save me? And what version of me is written in heaven that I'm afraid to embody on earth? Who are you supposed to be? Whatever you believe that happens after this life, it would be a shame for your soul to be liberated from your body. And then you get this image of who you were supposed to be, and you realize that it was all the things that you wanted, but you were too busy listening to the world tell you not to do it. Okay. Who could you be? Who would you be? Who do you desire to be? What do you desire to achieve? Who do you desire to help? Right? What a shame it would be for other people in the world to not benefit from you because you were too busy suppressing the God within you to listen to other people. The God within you to say, you know what, speak your story, speak your truth. You went through some things and they've shaped you, turned you into this more divine version of you. Speak that truth. But you say, no, not gonna have enough support. People are not gonna listen. You start suppressing that God within you, and now other people that need your story, that need to hear from you, can't benefit. Doesn't matter if it's one person. Doesn't matter if it's two people. They can't benefit anymore. Right? Who are you denying because you're not able to walk in your divinity? Okay, what are you denying yourself? Are you denying certain prosperity because you're not able to walk in your divinity and speak your truth? Because you're not able to do the things that are in alignment with your soul. Okay? So a daily practice, right? 3 daily practices. Number 1, speak your visions aloud. Take some time in your life, right? What's more important, the Netflix show that you already can predict how it's gonna unfold, or your life, right? Take time, stand in front of the mirror and speak what you want out loud. And take this time and treat it as if you are prophesizing. You are the prophet of your life, because you are, and you are speaking to yourself in the mirror, telling yourself what is going to happen in the future. Start prophesizing, okay? Number 2, start writing as if your pen is guided by the Spirit, because it is. Why? Because you are the Spirit. Okay? And then number 3, visualize not only what you want, but who you are when it is done. Visualize somebody telling you that their life is better because of you. Your mom telling you how proud she is of you. Your children looking at you and having a positive, divine role model. Right? Picture somebody just coming up to you and shaking your hand because your story helped them. Because your business employed them at a time where they did not know how life was going to get better. But you came along, and because you stepped in your dreams. Because this is the thing, we think that our prosperity only helps ourselves. If you start a business, who would you employ? You might employ people, right? You might help other people with their business. Even if you're just a creator, I say just. Right? So I do videography. Even if you do video or photos, how would your work help another business to actually feed their families? Right? Where is not stepping in your divinity actually subtracting from the world? Your prosperity is a bridge for a lot of people. People benefit from you actually walking in your divinity. So this should give even a different meaning to a quote unquote ego desire and a divine desire, because they're both the same. The constant example I'll give is people do feel a lot of guilt about their desires. Like, I want this money and prosperity, but I just feel as if there's so many people struggling in the world. And the rebuttal is you can't even help anyone if you're struggling as well. Yeah, you have this calling to help. You have this empathy to help other people. How could you help them if you can't help them? So perhaps part of you receiving that prosperity is now you can step and you can actually help more. And this gives you more of a feeling of purpose in your life. But to demonize our desires as if the Most High isn't intentional, right? It's unfortunate. Okay? It's unfortunate. Right? So the final declaration, right, is you are not here to follow the path. Oh, man. Man, I had a flight canceled to Atlanta this morning. Anyways, I'll tell y'all about that later. But you are not here to follow the path. You are here to forge it. Okay? You are not a beggar at heaven's gate. You are heaven's gate. You are not the lost. You are the hidden. And now you are rising. All right, so another quote from the Gospel of Thomas. All right, the world is a corpse eater, and those who dwell in it will be devoured. Those who dwell in the world will be devoured because the world is a corpse eater. Okay, but those who awaken will no longer be ruled by the flesh, but by the spirits. So what does this mean? So let's read through this, okay? The world is not simply the physical realm. It represents a system of illusions, attachments, and ego-driven pursuits that feed on the soul's sleep. To dwell fully in that world, consumed by materialism, validation, and fear, is to slowly be devoured piece by piece, forgetting the truth of who you are. It is a spiritual death disguised as success, comfort, or even love, luring the unaware into cycles of suffering and emptiness. Ooh, luring the unconscious, right, the unaware into cycles of suffering and emptiness. How does this represent most people's lives? It's a system of illusions, attachments, and pursuits that feed on our soul's sleep. The longer that you stay asleep, it just lures you into these cycles, suffering, emptiness, looking for validation outside of you, thinking that something outside of you will save you. Okay? But there is another path, the path of awakening. Those who remember their divine origin, who rise above the distractions of the flesh and listen to the quiet voice within, begin to live by the Spirit. This is not about rejecting the world, but seeing through it. It's about reclaiming your inner authority, letting your soul lead, and becoming untouchable by what once controlled you. Awakening is not escape, it is embodiment. And once awakened, you no longer serve the world, you serve truth. So the moment you begin to look through the world as the illusion that it is and use your perception to start cutting through reality and walking in your divinity, this is when you can truly awake, right? This is that metaphorical Mary experience that I always talk about, that Virgin Mary experience, where it's no longer do I need to work for money, get paid to live. No longer do I need to endure suffering. No longer do I need to react to the mirror. You sit by yourself, representing that Virgin Mary, and the Most High, the God within you, puts this idea in your life, in your mind, in your heart. So you have this immaculate conception where nothing outside of you had to get you pregnant. Nothing outside of you needed to push you into consciousness of what you wanted. It was just you and God. God showed up to you in the night, in the darkness. And in this darkness, right, it was your light of understanding that you are God that lit the path so you could see out of it. And so you accept this and you walk with faith. And now you have people that are trying to hunt you down. You have this immaculate conception in your mind from the divine, your desire, your vision. And people are trying to hunt you down. Situations outside of you are saying that they're not going to happen. And so you walk through life and boom, your thoughts become reality. And that Christ consciousness is born within you. And you look and you say, oh, I've never been a victim. God's always been within me. All right? So this is that metaphorical awakening. All right? So you are the dream of God dreaming itself awake. You are not waiting for a savior. You are remembering that you are already saved. Speak like it, walk like it, and create like it. Okay? So that's the end of today's, man. But the bottom line for this, kind of in conclusion, I got to jump off because I got to get back to the airport, is that life is exactly what you say it is. And life is shaped by your beliefs and your limitations. When you walk through life and you believe that things are not working out for you, they have no choice but to not work out for you. When you can look at everything and say, I don't care what it looks like. I really don't give a damn what anything looks like. It is what I say it is. This is when life conforms to your will. This is when you become the ultimate creator. Your creation doesn't just happen when you're affirming and visualizing. It happens more so based on who you are. This is why even spiritual teachers, I believe Neville Goddard's quote was, once you master your inner talk, you can put aside all other techniques. All other techniques. Once you actually master how you are communicating with yourself through everything in life, what you're giving meaning to and everything, you can throw down every other technique. No other technique matters. You walk through life and you are the meditation. You walk through life and you are the affirmation. You walk through life and you are the God of this reality. You revive situations on the spot. You wake up, you declare how your day is going to be. This will be a day of miracles. because I am a miracle, because God is within me, and I walk through life. And before I walk in any situation, I decree what it's going to be. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be. I'm going to have a divine day at work today. Everything's going to go smooth. Whatever you want it to be, you can decree a thing, and it shall be. And then boom, you come out of it. Anything that you do not like, you revise it on the spot. You know what? I don't like the way you're talking to me. Right? You're going to come back and apologize. In your head, you can say that, right? You're going to come back and apologize because you see who I am. Because this is not how a goddess like myself, a God like myself should be treated. And you embody that and you move forward and you forgive others so your Father in heaven can forgive you. And what does this actually mean? What does this actually mean? We forgive others so our Father in heaven can forgive us. That means we see people ideally. That means when somebody does something wrong and I don't like it, it's not enough to forgive and not forget. Or, I forgive, but I don't forget. You're still creating the same shit. What you have to do is you have to see them doing what you want with conviction. And guess what? The world will mirror what you want. This is just a life of illusions, y'all. Right. Even when people say, oh, no, you can't do that. Be realistic. What does be realistic really mean? It means live in the delusion of negativity. All I'm saying is point that delusion the other way. Negativity, positivity is both delusion. We'll drive home from work and argue with an imaginary coworker in our mind for 20 minutes. But the moment you start saying, everything is working out for me, no, that's delusion. They're both delusion. They are both absolute delusion. Now, if you really try to look and understand what reality or how reality works, is that the Most High, the God within you, never works in worst case scenarios. Whatever you can imagine, it's better. It'll always be better than that. This is why even if you imagine the worst case scenario and you dwell in it, guess what? The situation can't be that bad. It has to be better. And so even when you imagine your best case scenario, guess what? The situation cannot be that quote unquote bad. It has to be better. So you live in a realm where the God within you always operates on a level, on a frequency higher than you. Your mind, your thought is just a template. Okay? Your faith is the architecture, and the divine actually builds on top of that. What are you conscious of building? If you know that everything will always be better than what you can imagine, why would you imagine shitty things? Why wouldn't you start aiming high? Why wouldn't you start walking with delusion? Why wouldn't you start allowing your world to catch up to who you really are? It's your birthright. It's what God came down here to experience through you. It's what you deserve to have. Okay? Cool. So let's see here. I saw an interesting question. I appreciate you, Stephanie. Truly. Thank you. How do you get rid of the flesh? Do you truly get rid of the flesh? One of the things that's very interesting about kind of the spiritual path, everybody has their own version of truth. And so I'm gonna say things. I want you to take what resonates, leave what doesn't. One thing that is very interesting about any kind of spiritual path, any kind of religious path, is that when we start going down this and we start studying other things, we'll realize that everybody's walking on a unique journey to get to their truth, to get to the God within them. Some people search for God through religion. Some people search for God through science. Some people search for God through their work, through their relationships. Some people want to feel the connection of God, so they sleep with a lot of women, right? A lot of us try to find God in these external things. Now, when it comes to killing the flesh, I might have a different answer than a lot of people because of my perspective. The world is constantly trying to pit us against ourselves, meaning we have these concepts of heaven and earth, good and bad, negative, positive, right and wrong, feminine, masculine, when all of these things really are just two halves of a whole. What truly is wrong and right? Now, of course, you can give extreme examples, but I would also like to challenge and say, let's say that my flesh deals with lust. is dealing with lust. And I want to kill that part of me. Okay. What makes the lust wrong? What part of the lust makes it wrong? Okay. Because if you meet this woman and you want to be committed to her and you love her and you can't get enough of her, she fine as hell to you, you always want to be inside of her, right? When is your lust wrong in that situation? Okay. Let's say now that you want a lot of women. And so this is one of the conversations that I'll have with men is before we talk about going down the path of having multiple women, it's always, all right, what do you really want from a lot of women? Do you truly want a lot of women, or do you want intensity? Do you really want variety, or do you want intensity? Okay, so what that means is you might start talking about the different women that you deal with, and you say, okay, this one I can connect with sexually, and we can talk about whatever. But spiritually, I can really connect with this one. And, she just does other things for me, right? She cooks for me, and, the homely duties she can do that I can see myself with her, but she doesn't fulfill all these other things that she does, okay? Now, if you could find a woman that could provide you the intensity in all those areas, would you take it? Because I think that when we start to look at things like lust as men and start to try to kill it, we lose part of our masculine edge. You really want to penetrate when we think of penetrating our woman, you want to penetrate your woman the same way that you want to penetrate the world. The same way you want to go out in the world and you want to conquer the world. You want to make your mark on the world. You want to feel like the world needs you. You want to feel like you're making the world better. You want to feel like your gifts are pushing humanity in a better direction. It's the same way that you feel about your woman, right? You want to conquer her sexually. You want her to yell your name like you Hercules, like you are a god, right? You want to help her emotionally, spiritually, you want to guide her, right? You want to do all these things for her. So a lot of men do crave intensity, right? And our lust is just pointing us to that. A lot of times, like, our lust is just a divine calling back to who we are. It's just like our violence is, all right? So let's look at this as well. Let's define a good man. Every man, I don't truly believe that you could be a good man, right, if you don't have a certain edginess about you, especially the capacity for violence, and then also the capacity to put your woman's head behind the backboard when you're fucking her, right? So if you can, let's say that you can connect with your woman emotionally, but you cannot protect her. You don't have the capacity to be violent. Are you a good man? Of course, that's up to perspective, right? But being a good man is about balance. So when we step into this world, right, your lust, you're never gonna completely get rid of it. You're always gonna have a desire to be with a lot of women. It's not something that's just gonna go away, that you're gonna suppress out of you. Even when we go on this retention journey, right? Because I'll recommend every man to go on retention and really get that under control to where you're only releasing once a month, once every 2 months. You have as much sex as you want, but you only releasing these few times, right? Why is that? Because you still want to acknowledge your sexuality. You want to acknowledge your capacity for violence, but you want it just pointed in a way that helps you. What is the difference between a leader who is a protector versus a tyrant? Right? One is balanced and one isn't. Okay, the dictator versus the, I guess what we would call them, a politician, whatever. What is the difference? Okay, a protector and a tyrant, all these things, they're just balanced. So to me, it's never about killing the flesh. That's why I have a problem with so many of church doctrines, especially when it comes to lust, right? Is we're just taught, keep it in your pants. Keep it in your pants. That doesn't help anybody. Look at the church, right? Look at the Catholic Church and how that's going with them just trying to keep it in their pants. They're full of sex scandals, right? So trying to just kill and dismiss those urges, it leads to it being made manifest in a certain way. We had a good discussion not too long ago about specifically about a man's desire to be with multiple women and what that actually means and how we can actually transmute that energy, right? Because, long story short, is I don't truly believe that it's ever about killing desires, removing desires. It's about controlling them and pointing them towards what we want. Right? I still want to be able to sexually conquer my woman whenever I want to. But I don't want sexuality to rule my life, my lust to rule my life to where I am fucking up good situations because I can't control myself. Right? How many men, how many women throw away good things because they are controlled by their lust? So what you can do is you can use certain practices to make sure that you are the mind controlling your body, and it's not your body influencing and controlling your mind, right? Which one is stronger? You'll always have urges. You're full of testosterone. That's why even when I talk to women, I'm like, why can't men just keep it in their pants? Like, I believe women have good enough of a chance to understand men's sexuality as we do understanding a woman's cycle. Like, we could read about it, but we'll never experience it. Right? So it's just different. Right? I can't tell a woman how to experience her cycle. Like, she can't tell me how to control my sexuality. But if you start to utilize practices like retention, all right, how can I, when I have those urges, when I haven't released in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, do I understand myself? Do I know myself enough to take away certain triggers? Think of it no differently than if you are trying to quit drinking. You're not going to go hang out at a bar. Okay, if you're trying to go on a diet, you're trying to eat right, you're not going to go hang out at a buffet. If I'm trying to maintain my sexual energy, I'm not going to open up the sites. I'm not going to probably scroll that much on certain social medias because you never know what's going to pop up on there, right? I might not go to clubs or bars. I might work out more because now I'm more tired and I'm more focused. I might put more energy in my work. So it's about understanding myself, knowing myself, not about suppressing desires, because the Most High incarnate in this body to experience this life. This body is your tool. And to ignore urges that we have is to ignore our divinity. But your urges do tell you something. They tell you about yourself. Right? Your sexual energy tells you about yourself. Okay, those gut feelings you have whenever you feel an ache in your stomach when you're talking to this person and it happens 3-4 times, that's a synchronicity. It's teaching you something. Okay, every time that you play with yourself and you release and all of a sudden afterwards you feel, you don't feel so proud of yourself, right? It's a synchronicity. It happens all the time. It's trying to teach you something. You don't want to go down this path. You would prefer a real woman. Right? Anytime you sleep with a woman and you feel bad when you release, it's telling you something. It's a synchronicity. Right? All these things are just signs. So they're just tools, man. I think when we start thinking about killing the flesh, it puts a lot of pressure on us. I don't think it's practical because you have to live in this flesh, right? You have to have an ego. You're going to have desires. You just don't want those desires to control your life. And that's another part of it, is that accountability and asking ourselves that question. We all have free will. We have the ability to lead our life however we want. So even when it comes back to sex, right? If I am a man that wants a lot of women, how am I going about that? Am I walking a righteous path to get to it? Am I being honest about that with women and telling them what I want and allowing them to choose? Now, of course, you're going to walk through life and people are going to say, oh, no, that's wrong. Is that you're just being controlled by lust. That's your truth, right? But does someone else speaking their truth, all right, here's a big one, does someone else speaking their truth pull me to try to alter my truth just to appease them? Then what am I seeking? Am I seeking their validation? Do I not believe that I'm enough? That's also a sign, right? So if I'm walking through life and I'm saying that I want multiple women, okay, if that was what I wanted, and a woman questions that and it's like, you know what? Or before I even say it, we're just having a casual conversation and she says, you know, I think men like that, you know, they're disgusting. They just can't handle their lust. They try to disguise it in all these other things in spirituality or whatever, but I can't get with that. And in your mind, you're so attracted to her that all of a sudden you slip into a lack mindset. and you're like, oh shit, I might lose out on this. Not like there's billions of other women out here, right? But I might lose out on this one. Let me hide my truth. Synchronicity, right? It's trying to tell you something. You have room for expansion and room for growth whenever you encounter situations like this. So, everything's trying to tell us something. Your energy's trying to talk to you. Your lust, your desires, your quote unquote flesh is trying to speak to you. But one of the ways the world tricks us is pushing us into this mindset where it's heaven versus earth, where it's out there versus in here, when clearly all these spiritual teachers are saying, no, the kingdom is within you. There is no out there and here. There's no difference. Okay, your flesh is God, and you are God as well. Okay, to think anything else would be to reject the Most High's creation. Right? Who are we to make the decision on what is right and wrong? That's humans. Like, who are you, right? This is all creation. God creates hurricanes and tornadoes and all those things, and it comes to it. Sometimes people lose their life. Do you call that wrong? Do you say God is wrong because of that? But we step in this mindset and we start to determine that our lust is quote unquote wrong. It's just energy. It's literally just energy. Okay. Now, of course, it can go down, you can go down a path where that controls your life, controls your decision making. But is it wrong per se? No, it's not. It's just how we point it. And it's always trying to teach us something about ourselves. I mean, even certain people that have crazy sexual, desires, right? A lot of that is energy imbalance as well. And your energy will talk to you, and it will tell you when you're off. So, for instance, okay, so for instance, if you are a man or a woman who has had a lot of sex, a lot of sexual experiences. All right, matter of fact, let me take a step back. Let's say that you're somebody who watches the adult sites. If you walked up to somebody right now that's on those sites and you were like, hey, let me see your search history, what do you think they would say? You think they would be like, oh, hell yeah, here you go? Or do you think they might hesitate? Because the search history might be a little specific, right? We as humans are addicts, to say the least. And when we get certain things that we like, we have this flood, this rush of dopamine that leads us to wanting more and more specific things, okay? So what you'll see is that the more people watch the porn sites, the more they want. The more people have sex, the more they want, right? And then they start getting fetishes. And then all of a sudden, certain things, certain levels don't satisfy them anymore, right? It's like the first hit, right? These things are all drugs. All right, the first hit, oh my God, you'll never get it again. It's never as good as that. Okay, even with liquor, right? The more that you drink, the more that you need to drink to get drunk. The more sex you have, the more that you need to be stimulated to get off. Like people play with all these toys and stuff and they ruin their sensitivity. Now they can't even release with a man. All right, gentlemen, you might sleep with so many women, all of a sudden it becomes difficult for you to release with women. Okay, these are all signs. It's all your energy trying to talk to you like, hey, slow down. Slow down, my brother. Slow down, my sister. Like, let's get this under control here before it takes off and it ruins your life, right? So it's always about discernment and being conscious. Comes back to consciousness. Are you conscious of your body, of what your energy is telling you? Who's to say if sex is right or wrong? Okay, we can determine that all we want, right? And if you're born in a different part of the world, if you walk within a different religion, you'll have a different opinion of what is right and wrong when it comes to sex and partners and spouses and all that. So all that is just a debate for whatever. All right, everybody has their truth, but bottom line is that your truth is going to be what you declare it to be. Hopefully that helps. know it went on a roundabout. Sometimes when I start answering the question, I just go to infinity and beyond. Just start going into left field. Left field is cool. I like left field. It feels like a Friday, man. No problem. Appreciate the question, truly. I was supposed to have a flight out to Atlanta this morning. I was supposed to leave at 7 and get there like 10:30 a.m. Flight got canceled. So I got another flight for later, but I'm be overnight. I got a layover in Cleveland for a long time, overnight. So I gotta find a spot out there. And then I get to Atlanta at like 7:45. So I lose a day, but it's cool. I like the adventurous path. I like when things open up to me in a different way, and I can walk a different path. Honestly, because I've never been to Cleveland, to be honest. So it'll be the first time. And I'm doing some camera work, so I just go walk around out there and take some pictures and some videos. See what kind of food they got. Enjoy it. Enjoy the time out there. I appreciate you, man. I needed it too. We all need a reminder of our divinity. We all needed a reminder of our divinity from time to time. All right. But I challenge you, I want you, I see you, I know that you will walk more conscious of this awareness, as you continue to move forward. And no, I don't have a podcast. I just go live. But I keep all of this on YouTube. All right, so I've been posting stuff on Instagram for a while. So my Instagram following was pretty high. And then I just started doing TikTok and YouTube lives earlier this year. But the YouTube, I keep everything on YouTube. I keep the documents on there. So you can always go on YouTube and see everything that I do. But or see all the other lessons. The only reason I don't share the document on TikTok is because every time I go live on TikTok from the software, I always got reported. But I could never understand why. It always said I was talking about certain things that I wasn't talking about. So I didn't know if it was just an issue with that. And instead of going through some large process, I was just like, you know what? Is it really that big of a deal to you? It's like, nah. Okay, let's just do it on the phone. Someone did tell me to start doing these ass podcasts and posting them, which I'll probably do later on. But I just don't have the desire really to do it right now. It's not something that I feel drawn to. But now that I said that, I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to start looking it up this weekend. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for that divine spark. That's how you know you a goddess, man. You out here with the divine spark. Appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, y'all. I'm about to go finish packing. Oh, shit. I got to dry some clothes, too. But, all right, I'll give y'all some affirmations and we can go, man. All right, I see you all as divine. I see you all as beautiful, as brilliant, as perfect, right? As in alignment with everything that you want. I see you as nothing less than a God, nothing less than a goddess. Okay? You can have the exact life that you want. You can have the money you want, the relationships you want. You can live where you want. You can drive what you want. You can have everything, no exception. The only limitation to your life is what you place on it. Right? The Most High is within you, always walking by you and ready to act through you. And all you have to do is have faith. All you have to do is remember who you are. Be larger than every circumstance that you encounter. It doesn't matter what anything looks like. The God within you is perfect. So the situation must be unfolding to what you want perfectly, because it has no other choice. Okay? Y'all stay divine, y'all stay prosperous. Maybe we'll talk tomorrow if I have some time. I'm taking my PC. So see if we'll talk tomorrow. If not, y'all have a blessed and divine weekend. I appreciate y'all. And till next time, God willing. Appreciate you.